Howdy. Welcome to Tasty's Tier List with everyone's favourite big voluptuous delicious daddy, me. How's it going, everyone? So I did last week. I did celebrations, and I thought today I'm going to try something a bit more poncy. So I'm doing bottled water or water in general because everyone knows I'm big thirsty. I love my water. I drink too much of it. I've probably got diabetes, but you know what? That's just a bridge I'm gonna have to cross when I come to it. Right. So I've managed to put together about 15 types of water that I ingest on the reg, and we're gonna list it. Now we know what's going on. We've got goat, slaps, hell yeah, meh, not keen, and SeaBin. You know what's going on. So first off, we're gonna start with Evian. Like everyone knows Evian, right? It's fucking pretty commonplace in any kind of sort of supermarket meal deal. It's the kind of shit that most. It's kind of like you know how when people talk about riders, they'll be like, I only want 50 blue M&Ms and ice cold Evian with my name on it. Everyone knows Evian, and I think I'm just gonna put it in a solid hell yeah. You know, pretty in the middle. It's definitely not the worst by any means. But you know, it doesn't slap, and it's not the greatest of all time, but it's pretty good. You know, I do fuck with the Evs. Evs ain't bad. So we got the Evian right off the bat. Now, Highland Spring Water. This would probably be much easier if I had any way to edit these videos, or I could put the images on the screen. But Highland Spring Water, to me, I fucking love a Highland Spring Water. Now, my local corner shop, they sell like 1.5 litre bottles in these sort of thin bottles. These thin bottles. And they're always ice cold out the fridge, and there's just something about it that just hits different. If I see a bottle of water, if I see like a bunch of bottle of waters in a fridge, I normally go for the Highland Spring. I don't know what it is. Maybe I'm just thinking of jumping in that Highland Spring. So I'm going to be honest with you right off the bat. Once again, it's an early entry, but Highland Spring is going in the goat section. I don't know if that's controversial or not. I don't know. Right, Buxton. I should say these are all sort of UK based water brands, but I don't get a lot of international listeners, so it doesn't matter. Buxton. It ain't nothing special. I mean, it's not terrible. I mean, it's totally drinkable. It's not that much different from Evian, but it just feels cheaper, you know? So I'm going to stick it in meh. I can't remember the last time I had a Buxton that wasn't like a free bottle of water from a show or something, so Buxton goes in the meh. Right now, I've got a bunch of supermarket waters, because the cheap supermarket waters that you can find for like 17p a bottle, or like 20p a bottle, sometimes that's what you're going to get, and sometimes they're pretty good. Normally they're warm because they're just, you know, stacked with all the other drinks, but they do the job. Tesco have one called Ashbeck, and I like Ashbeck. Ashbeck is something that I would grab on tour a lot, so I'm used to drinking it. And it's something that doesn't taste bad warm. So this might also be controversial, but I'm putting it in slaps. Because I'm pretty sure most of these supermarket waters are just filtered tap water, which is what I drink normally anyway. But there's something about Ashbeck that's just a bit more nostalgic for me. So Ashbeck is going in slaps. Sainsbury's have an own brand water called Still Scottish Water. So it comes straight up from Scotland, Bonnie, Scotland. In in principle, I should put it next to Ashbeck because I'm pretty sure it's the same thing. But I don't go to Sainsbury's that much when I'm on tour, so I don't have that much of a connection to it. So I'm going to put it in meh next to Buxton. You know what I mean? So Scottish Still. That's what I'm doing. So here's how we're looking so far. Next up, we have Asda, and their water is just called Still Water, Still Mineral Water. You know what? I'm going to put it in meh as well. I know this is very exciting, isn't it? Still Min from Asda. So, you know, water isn't doing too bad so far. Nothing's really going bad. Next up is a very controversial one because San Pellegrino I do they do still water? I'm pretty sure I've only had their sparkling water, and I know this is a bit of a subject that's a bit touchy because if you listen to the show, you know that I definitely do fuck with sparkling water. Not a lot of people do. Um, you can just get the cheap sparkling water from the supermarket, but if you really want to feel bougie as fuck, you get the San Pellegrino, especially if it's cold from a fridge, and it just hits different. I'm not going to put it in the goat, even though I personally would, because I know that a lot of people don't like it, but I'm definitely putting it in slaps. I intentionally wrote it really scribbly because I forgot how to spell it. So yeah, there we go. Right, Pure Life. Pure Life is made by Nestle, so there's only really one place for it. But I did come into this thinking, I don't know the ethics of all of these water companies, so I don't know how many of these are just stealing water, sucking them from third world countries and charging people for it. I don't know. Probably a lot of them, let's be honest, but Pure Life has to go in the SeaBin, right? Purely because Nestle, fucking figure it out. Up next, we've got Volvic. Volcanic filtered water. Straight from Mother Earth's glorious teat. I'm going to put Volvic up next to Evian in Hell Yeah. A lot of these go. The ranking is how they taste cold. A lot of these just taste fucking good cold. Room temperature, they're all the same. So a lot of these, I'm just if like the supermarket ones that are normally room temperature, I'm basing them purely off nostalgic feelings within my soul. But Volvic tastes good. I got no problems with Volvic. Abbey Well. Now Abbey Well, I don't really see around too much, but it's normally the kind of one that you get in like a big pack of 24, in like a supermarket or something for a quid or two. I get them a lot at shows as like free handouts. I'm gonna put it next to Buxton's Scottish Still and Still Mineral Water. I've got nothing against it. I wouldn't go out my way to reach for a bottle of it, but it doesn't offend me. It's whatever it is. Vitel. I've got this written down, but I've already forgotten what it is, so it has to go with not keen. If I can't even remember, if I've written it down and already forgotten how I know it, something in my brain must have gone, that's a thing, and then now it's like, no, it's not. But if it's not that memorable, I'm going to put it in not keen because my brain doesn't decide what it wants to do. Lidl has a brand called Carrick Glen. This is one I've had a lot because I do a lot of shopping in Lidl because it's cheap. I've got to save every penny. Spend a little, live a lot, as they say. And I drank this a lot. Spoiler alert for what's coming up next, but I fucking hate tap water that hasn't been filtered in some way. I got really sensitive taste, so I just taste the fluoride, and I taste the chlorine, and I taste like the limestone, and I taste whatever else is in there. Sometimes I just get it from the tap and it smells like it's come from the harbour. Shit's fucked. So I used to get a lot of cheap bottles of water. I know it's bad, lots of plastic and stuff. I have a Brita filter now, which would go in fucking goat if I could, but I haven't listed it. But so I would get the cheap bottle of water, and that's kind of what I would live off for as my water supply, because I'm a filthy fucking scumbag. So I do like Garrett Glen, and I'm going to put it in slaps. So Carrick Glen goes in slaps. Sorry if I'm going too fast for this, but I just wanted to get it out the way because how much can you really talk about water in detail, But this is what we're looking at right now. Also, I do realise this is the most first world video I've ever made. Tap. Right. It's not going to go in the SeaBin because how lucky are we to have water that we can just get out the tap? We don't have to walk fucking 10 miles to a dirty, polluted river and carry it in our heads. We are very blessed. And it does do in a pinch. And sometimes in the winter time when the pipes are cold and you get it dead cold at the tap, sometimes that can override the taste of fluoride. But that would be one of the last things I'd grab for, so I'm definitely putting it in not keen. Right. Smart water. Weird, like sort of jiggly bottles because they're like supposed to be super recyclable. So the bottles are kind of like at least that's how I think they feel flimsier. They're supposed to have like a smart pH and all that shit. To me, it's nothing mega. I'm putting it in meh because that's it. Right, last one because this is one that I was trying to think of what could go in goat, and I'm trying to think of what water hits different when you have it. I'm thinking, do you ever go into like an office building, a doctor's office, a waiting room, somewhere, and they have like an ice cold fountain with a little button, and you can put it in a little tiny paper cup or something? That water, I don't know what it is, man. It just hits different. I don't know if it's because you're parched more, because you're nervous from being in these office buildings, so you get this sweet oasis of clear H2O nectar, and it just dribbles down your chin, and it's like, bleh, hydration. Something about that just slaps differently to me, but it slaps above slaps and is going in goat next to Highland Spring. I'm going to call it fountain water. So this is... There could be a part 2 to this video. I'm not sure. Let me know what you would rank things. But that's how things are looking for me right now. This is the most pointless video I ever made, and I'm sorry for wasting your time. I love you all. Thank you for supporting the Patreon, and I'll see you next week.